Morning everybody, welcome to Friday's Indycar. My name's Gordon Ross. Today I'm in Temple near to Annie's Land Cross. Today, two things to talk about. First one is, when is a consent decision taken as consent, and what does that entire sentence actually even mean? I watched yesterday with incredulity as David Mundell attempted to squirm his way through a select committee, asking him what exactly the British government's position was on the consent of the Scottish Parliament, or lack of it, to Section 11 of the repeal bill. And the answer to that was that a consent decision, in other words, if the Scottish Parliament were to have a vote and take a decision to either reject or accept or defer any kind of consent to this new repeal bill, then that would be taken as consent. So it seems to me that whatever the Scottish Government decides to do, and whatever the Scottish Parliament decides to do, which is even more important, is taken as meaning they give consent, even when they have specifically not given consent. So this legal verbal diarrhea that was coming out of the mouth of David Mundell yesterday just simply means that no matter what you say in the Scottish Parliament, they'll override it. And we knew this would happen because the Scottish Government and the Scottish Parliament has no veto over any kind of foreign affairs decision taken by the British Government. And the British Government know this. And the pantomime that we saw yesterday was a bizarre attempt to try and explain this in a way which sounded reasonable, when in fact the whole thing is pretty obviously unreasonable. It's just simply a case of, why didn't they just say foreign affairs is a reserved power, therefore Scotland cannot decide to accept or not accept Brexit. It's not within its power to do it. Why didn't he just say that? Because that's what he meant. Instead we got all these verbal gymnastics as he attempted to contort himself and his words to mean something which they plainly didn't mean. It was laughable. It was a joke. It made a mockery of the entire process of devolution, which perhaps was the intended consequence anyway. Moving on from that, we all know now that no matter what is decided in Scotland, that Brexit will happen, and that our consent, or lack of it, will be taken to mean that we give our consent no matter what we say. So it doesn't matter anymore anyhow. It's actually just the final nail in the coffin, the final brick in the wall in terms of a mandate for another referendum on independence, because let's face it, if there was ever a mandate for a referendum on independence, it's that. It's the fact that no matter what the Scottish Parliament decides to do, it will always be overruled by the British Parliament in London. And that, in terms of decisions being taken when Scotland has clearly voted publicly, every voter has taken part in a ballot, and there has been a massive majority in every constituency of Scotland against some foreign affairs decision being taken by Westminster, that counts for zip nothing. Doesn't make any difference. Scotland will always be dictated to. We're not in a union, we're in a dictatorship. We've been invaded and occupied, and we're being told what to do by a foreign power. That's simply the truth of the matter. There isn't any varnish you can put over this which makes it seem like a union. It's not a union, it's a dictatorship, and it's plain for everyone to see that no matter what you say or vote for, no matter what democratic process you use, you will always be overruled by the foreign country which is ruling Scotland, and that's the situation. Which brings me, interestingly, to yet another ridiculous story which came out just this morning. While I was listening to lovely old Radio 4 in the car this morning, I heard, I think it was Nick Robinson, interviewing the new, or the latest in the line of leaders from UKIP to explain why his party basically bombed at the constituency, at the council elections in England and Wales. And what he said was, and I always burst a gusset laughing when I heard this, he described UKIP, this is the UKIP leader, right, described UKIP as having the same effect on Britain as the Black Death. And when it was pointed out that the Black Death had killed something in the region of 1 million or 12 million people, whatever it was, and it caused a disaster across the whole of England. The UKIP guy said yes, but it ushered in this and that and the next thing. He made up a whole series of things which it changed and altered the course of British history. Well, yes, it altered the course of British history, and I suppose UKIP could be compared to the Black Death in that it has caused a great deal of tragedy, a great deal of personal loss, and it's going to cause a great deal of grief over a long period of time that will never be forgotten. And the fact that, like the Black Death, it's now dying out, shows you that UKIP has worked its poison. It's the disease of British British politics, which has killed British politics off. It's wiped out itself. It's killed itself off in the process, and it's caused Brexit. It's caused probably the biggest, most disastrous political crisis in recent modern history. And now the people who caused it, UKIP, are basically melting away back into the background and disappearing forever. I hope forever. But comparing your own party to the Black Death has got to be probably the biggest gaffe I have ever heard any political leader make on a live radio show. And he went on to dig the hole deeper by saying that all sorts of great things came out of the Black Death. And I was struggling, I really was struggling not to spray coffee down my nose this morning listening to this nonsense. It's been 2 days of utter garbage through the British media from British parties of all kinds. The fact that the Labour Party has failed almost spectacularly to hit the open goal of knocking the Tories off their perch in the local authority elections is incredible. And then I thought about it this morning, I thought about it again, and I thought, well, the reason why things are so bad in England is because there's no choice in political parties. There are two parties. There's bad and there's much worse. And that's the choice they get. You've got much worse in the Tory party, or you've got Labour, which is just plain bad, just rubbish. So you've got rubbish or worse. There's no choice. There's this polarity of choice in the UK. You either have a crap party or you have a really crap party, and people are sick of that. Absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. At least in Scotland we have the chance to end that polarity of Labour and Tory, Labour and Tory, Labour and Tory, which has wrecked the whole of the United Kingdom, wrecked its economy, ruined countless lives, caused countless booms and busts for the last century or more. We alone have the chance to end that by having a referendum, and we've got clear evidence now of why we need one. It's never been more obvious that we need to escape from the European Union. I was going to say from the UK. Sorry, too many unions. But the point is that the UK doesn't serve Scotland anymore. We've grown out of it. We never really were part of it anyway. We were just used, and now that our usefulness is almost done, they think that the oil's running out, or that the oil's not going to do them any good. This is a load of nonsense. There's a big recovery in the oil industry at the moment. It's going to get bigger. Oil doesn't run out, it just gets harder and harder to find it and more expensive to take it out of the ground. But it's not going away, it's not draining away. So that's all nonsense as well. But the point here is that we have a government which cannot govern properly. It needs 13 Northern Irish nut jobs to come in and prop it up. These are the turkeys that are voting for Christmas in Northern Ireland, incidentally. Northern Ireland that voted to remain is being taken out by the DUP, which doesn't want to remain. The DUP wants to be treated badly by the UK, so it feels part of the UK. Another load of absolute utter rubbish. We're down a rabbit hole here. We're being dragged down a rabbit hole by a white rabbit, and the white rabbit in this case was Nigel Farage, and we've got the Queen of Hearts who doesn't have a heart, that's Theresa May, and you've got Tweedledum and Tweedledee, both parts played by Boris Johnson. Michael Gove's the Cheshire Cat, he just smirks the whole time. And all the time this is happening, the country's digging itself deeper and deeper into debt. And Scotland is sitting there at the top of the UK, right at the very northern edge of it, with a surplus, a budget surplus, the only part of the UK which is making a profit and has made a profit for 30 bloody years and never ever borrows any money. And we are sitting here wanting to be taken down this rabbit hole of Brexit to oblivion, to wreck our own economy, all because the Tories tell us we have to do it. Well, we don't have to do it. All we need to do is have a referendum and say, nope, we've had enough of all this nonsense. We are the sensible country out of these four. We are the ones who know that what you're doing is utterly stupid and is going to wreck the economy once again. Probably worse than the Tories did it back in the 80s this time. I think it will be worse because we had built up our country back. We put it back together again. It took us nearly 30 years in Scotland to rebuild what Thatcher and her cronies destroyed and sold off in less than 5 years. But now we put it back together again. Why the hell would we allow the Tories to destroy it again? It makes no sense. Why would anybody allow the London Tory party to destroy the Scottish economy just so that they can keep their tax havens open? Because that's what it boils down to. It's London's wealth that's being protected here. Scotland is being thrown under the bus, as usual. And we're expected to just suck it up because we're part of this UK. Well, sorry, we are not part of the UK. We've never been part of the UK. We've always been seen as a foreign country with a fractious, awkward population who don't always agree with what England wants to do. Well, why the hell should we? We're not England, we're Scotland, we're a different country. Why would any country anywhere on the planet allow another neighbouring country to drag them into a recession without doing something about it? Anyway, I'm getting annoyed, but I'm also laughing this morning at the utter hypocrisy and idiocy of the British parties, particularly the far right. UKIP are absolutely hilarious this morning. I've never heard such utter bilge from any political party other than the Tories before, and UKIP really, to me, not just shot themselves in the foot, they've shot themselves in the bloody head this morning. The Black Death. Well, make of that what you will, but listen again. You'll get a chance probably to hear it again on the BBC iPlayer. But listen this morning to the interview with the UKIP leader on the morning programme on Radio 4. It is absolutely hysterical. Anyway, I got to go. But for those of you going to the big march tomorrow in Glasgow, best of luck. Bring as many people as possible. We want to see a turnout of 100,000 tomorrow. And I want to see hundreds and hundreds of mobile phone pictures all over the internet tomorrow. We are going to saturate Twitter, we're going to saturate Snapchat, Facebook and every other platform with huge amounts of pictures, movies and posts all about the march, all under one banner march tomorrow. And I think all under one banner is probably going to be the hashtag. So it's going to be AOUB with the hashtag at the front of it. But anyway, contact the All Under One Banner leadership and organisers to make sure you have the correct hashtag to use on your posts. We want it trending tomorrow, and we want 100,000 people clogging up the streets of the biggest city tomorrow. We need to show our First Minister and the SNP in Holyrood that the people of Scotland are demanding a new referendum, and tomorrow is the day that we really shout loudest. So come on, down to Glasgow, wherever you are tomorrow, get in your car, get on the train, get on the bus, get yourself down to Kelvin Grove tomorrow. It starts sharp at 11:30, so make sure you're there well before that time. And the march will take place wandering through the city centre and over to Glasgow Green for a big rally with speeches and music and other events. Have a great day tomorrow, everyone. I'm sorry I won't be there to take part. I might, and I'm not promising, I might manage to get along to the rally later in the day if I can get out of a bit of work tomorrow. But it's unlikely. Unfortunately, I have a driving test to do tomorrow. That's the reason why I can't get out of it. Anyway, good luck everyone tomorrow. Have a great day on Saturday. I look forward to seeing all your posts online as things go tomorrow through Glasgow. Anyway, I'm off. See you later. Have a great day. Bye for now.